your house.
Yes, because I haven't had a chance to have you guys out here yet. Hey, Facebook, how y'all doing? Come on in. Come on in on this Thursday night.
Come on.
All right. So for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's your girl Gwendolyn here from your virtual admin expert. Welcome to Leading Behind the Scene, your weekly dose of inspiration to equip you in business and life. Real quick, I want to share with you about the Genius Zone. If you have been in business less than 5 years and you are desperately seeking accountability, community, or you need to implement some systems, or if you have been praying for tips for creating workflows and systems in your business, tools and strategies on how to stop doing everything yourself, if you need a tribe of like-minded women who are also pursuing their dreams, then I am talking to you. You need to come on over to thegenius-zone.com and check it out. I lead this group of amazing women myself. We have so much fun, but we also execute on things and get our goals accomplished. So come on over, check us out at thegenius-zone.com and come on into the community. I look forward to seeing you. So we are continuing the conversation on pivoting because 2020, as I'm sure all of y'all know, has created moments of change in all of our lives. And tonight I get to talk to Miss Bernadette Hicks, who you will probably hear me refer to affectionately as my Bernie, because I think she's just only mine, but I know that she's probably other people's Bernie too. But she is the CEO and president of ABC Toontown Educational Center, one of the few African-American owned childcare providers in her community. And through the last 20 years, she has been leading this center. They have weathered multiple storms, everything from the state's ongoing fiscal crisis, which spelled doom and gloom for a lot of childcare providers, but not ABC Toontown. So, and everything, even with the pandemic, like she is leading through this disruption like a boss. So I am super excited to glean some wisdom from her because people are just so sleep on Miss Bernadette. Okay. She got a lot of wisdom and she is really kind of a mini, I call a millionaire mogul. So I'm gonna need y'all to grab some pens and notepads and take a listen. So Miss Bernie.
Yes.
I couldn't remember if our first connection was actually at church or if it was at Rashida's birthday dinner. Do you remember?
It was actually at church when we were taking the leadership boot camp. Because I had no idea that you guys were connected until
we got to dinner.
Yes, yeah, and I was like, I didn't know. I was
we were
wow.
so excited. It was like we had found out we were family or something.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I love
Bernie. And we just kind of been hanging ever since.
I am so grateful to my auntie Tracy. He was like, you need to come and visit. You need to come and visit. I was like, girl, what I need to come and visit for? She was like, you need to come and visit. I'm like, okay. So then I came visiting. Then I kept on coming to visit. Then somehow I ended up in the new members class. Then I ended up in the foundation. So like I ended up in all these classes. I was like, I guess I'll go here now, right? Then I started meeting y'all and making all these amazing connections and meeting these amazing, wonderful people. And I'm just so glad that I said yes to coming to visit. So thank you for being a part of my life.
Oh, no, thank you.
Love you dearly.
I love you too.
So let's just jump in because I'm super excited to glean some wisdom. I'm going to be taking my own notes tonight.
Okay.
And so we're still talking about pivoting, shifting, changing at critical points in our lives and our businesses. And I know that you have experienced quite a few shifts in just the last few years, because even just, what was it, maybe 3 years ago, we were literally just celebrating the open house of your new place for your childcare center. You had been in one location for like 18 years and then moved to this big old 15,000 square foot facility. And we was like, oh, we
Yeah.
got to see this. We need to celebrate. And we were just celebrating your
Mhm.
open house for that. Then your daughter got married.
Yes.
And I think, did
Yes.
she move to New York or something?
Well, she moved to New York prior to getting married, so she's been in New York now for about almost going on 8 years now. So
Wow.
yeah, she's like, oh my gosh, I thought she was coming home, but it's not.
Yes. She got married. I remember that. Look, we was attending the wedding online. We was looking at all the pictures. And then 2020 came, and
Oh,
this pandemic just like,
yeah.
so I really want to hear from you. How have you managed to pivot during all these different times? If we were to go back a little bit, was there ever a pivotal moment in your life where you knew, like, I need to pivot right now if I'm going to move to that next level?
Actually, I can speak to that from 10 years ago. A lot of people don't know that my mother-in-law and I actually founded ABC together. And so she and I were partners. And I didn't initially start out doing the day-to-day managing because that was pretty much her role, because I actually had, so I thought, alternative plans in the corporate arena. So when we first founded the business 22 years ago now, I said, oh, you've got this. I'm over here, so I'll just be in the background. That was the intention. But fast forward, I don't know how many years forward, when I finally left corporate America, and then I finally came out of corporate and then joined her with the business. And then about a year into that, we expanded into a second location, because I was like, okay, so you were here and then I'm here, and everything was running great. And then we found out that she was sick. So she actually ultimately passed in 2010. And at that time, we had the two locations. One was an infant toddler site, and then one was the preschool, kindergarten, before and after school. And so the pivoting time for me was, where do we go from here? Do I keep this going, or should I close shop and go back to corporate? So I prayed about it, because I just didn't know what to do. I was like, I can't do this. When you envision and you go into something with someone, that's the last thing on your mind, that this person is not going to be here to see. There were so many times that we talked about dreams and things like that, and where we wanted the business to go. And so when she was no longer here, I was like, well, what am I going to do now? So that was the first major pivot for me concerning the business. But after praying about it, I knew deep down inside that it was for me to continue. So that's what I did. That was the first major one. But the issue I was having was, okay, there's two centers and it's just one me. So so I had to make some adjustments, but it was pretty it kept me busy though, because after she passed, I was so devastated that I needed to stay busy, I think it even gave me more drive to take the business to another level, because I know before she passed, that was one of the last words she said to me was, you keep this going. And I was just like, no. So it was just really my honor to keep it going, and even striving to take the business to the next level.
And you've kept that legacy
I
alive,
did.
which is
Yes.
huge. What do you think she's saying right now? What do you think, if she was here in this moment, what would she be saying?
If she were standing here right now, I can just envision her just big, because she had the biggest smile, and she just be smiling, and she say, see, Bernie, I told you. Because she was definitely a woman of faith. And because there were times that the business was really on shaky grounds, and I was ready to walk away, like, okay, this is it, this is the last payroll, we are shutting down. And she'd be like, God is not going to break his promise. And so she was very encouraging, and she was definitely a woman of great faith. And so she really kind of helped to keep me level, especially on the days I was just like, Mom, this is just not working. And she was like, nope, God is not going to, everything that God promised, she said he's going to do it. So you just have to keep doing. And she was very big on planting seeds. So we were always planting financial seeds, and ministries and things like that. And so, which is very important. She taught me the importance of giving. And a lot of people, when they give, or some people don't like to give, but it'll come back to you. And whether it doesn't even always have to be money. It could be health, or God can give you favor, but people, when they're giving, they're looking for a financial thing to come right back to them, but you have to look at the whole scope. It comes back in other ways. So, and I believe in my heart that that's the reason why we're flourishing today, because we planted so many seeds and we helped so many people along the way. And so even in this pandemic, we're still standing. So, and that's because I'm always giving, and I've always been a giver, and partially because she taught me how to do that.
That is amazing. You got me over here. I'm like trying to keep my tears in my eyes, because I'm like, girl, you got to keep going.
Yeah, I mean,
my gosh.
Yeah.
So when 2020 hit, and this pandemic just literally shifted the way that businesses had to do everything. Like, how did that make you have to pivot or shift in the way that you ran your business?
Well, prior to COVID, everything was, we were just doing this. I think we were on track to have one of our best years ever. And we were even working on expanding into another. Everything was just on target. And so then when COVID hit, of course, then we had to shut down for about 10 weeks. And so during those 10 weeks, I'm pivoting in my mind saying, how is this going to look when we come out of this? Because I just didn't know if the families were going to be comfortable with bringing their children back. So, and then the governor, he cut all programs capacity, I think, by about 30-35%.
Yep.
So that's a lot. So that was a major. Oh my gosh, listen. And people think that when you're doing childcare that you're just making all this money. You have to put a lot back into the business, especially if you want a quality program. Now, I know there's a lot of programs out there that they take the money and they spend it on themselves, but we've always reinvested back into the program, because one of our philosophies was giving the children a quality experience. And if you want quality, you have to spend the money. So,
girl, you that part for the people in the back, say it a little bit louder for the people in the back.
If you want quality, you have to spend the money. You have to invest. You're not going to get quality if you just holding on to everything. Nothing's going to grow if you just holding on. You have to pour back into your business. It's important, whether it's daycare or whatever. You have to keep reinvesting to help your business to grow. So the major pivot was, what is it going to look like when we get back? So we actually were shut down from, I want to say, mid to late March, and we reopened early June. And, it was slow going, I will tell you, because a lot of parents, and I think not only were they afraid, but I think a lot of them were still working from home. So the kids are just kind of slowly coming back. So the pivot was, how do you survive? What do you do to kind of keep this going? Because I think I had at the time 25 staff. And so one of the things that I have to, as a, CEO, is like, what do you do? Because in 22 years, we have never laid off not one person ever, even with all this stuff going on. So I did what I needed to do. One of the things I can say, that when you do have good years, put money to the side. It looks good to want to be able to spend it all, but you have to prepare for for bad times. So I can say that once we came back, all of my staff came back. And even though it was kind of like a ghost town in there, I still knew that my families, because of the environment that we built, I knew that they were going to be coming back. And so even today, we're right at just about at the capacity that, you know,
Wow.
you know, that 35%. So we're where we need to be. So the pivot is, yes, it's scary, but if you plan ahead, and if you're smart with your money and budgeting and things, you can kind of get through this. And the other thing I tell myself, there's an other side to COVID, so we're not going to be in this place forever. So are things hard right now? Absolutely, but it's not going to last forever. So I can see on the other side of this thing. So I'm planning for the other side and not
Come
for where
on
we stand.
now.
So you have
That's
to be
good.
forward thinking.
That's
Absolutely.
good. And you got to stay the course. If you want to see
Yes.
the other side, you
Yes.
have to stay the course. This is one of those painful parts of
Yes.
running a business and being an
Mhm.
entrepreneurship, you know. And I tell people all the time, especially the ladies in my programs, yeah, you guys see all the fancy stuff people talking about. They making all the money. They got these beautiful sites. They doing all these things that you seeing in these images. But this behind the scenes stuff, this stuff is real. They ain't telling you about the sleepless nights that you have when you crying. They ain't telling you about the hard decisions when you literally don't know what to do, and you literally have to just like get quiet, speak God or whatever your faith is. We believe in God, and
Absolutely.
be like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do in this moment? And when you truly care about the people on your team, right? Because it's
Yes.
like people are depending on me to eat, like they're depending on me
Yes.
to feed their families. What am I supposed to do with that? Like, that's a
And people,
huge weight to
that's a
carry.
huge weight. And people don't even realize they're on the outside looking in. And you're right. Like, ooh, I'm like, I tell my staff a lot, I'm like, some days I wish I could just switch. Can you all just be
That
me for a
part,
day?
that
I can just
part.
come and do your job, and then I get to go home. They get to do their jobs and go home, whereas I do my job is 24/7.
It's 24/7 because
Yes,
you got to do your job, but then you
yep,
also have to make sure that the business is running well. You
yes.
got to make sure the finances are being managed appropriately. You
Mhm.
got to make sure the parents are happy. You got to make sure
Yes,
the kids are taken care of. Like, you got to
yes,
do all these things. You got to market.
yes,
You got to network. You got to build
yes.
relationships. Like, you got to do all these things
Mhm.
that they don't even have to think about. You know, one of the ladies in my program right now, she's working on her landing page for a product that she's doing. And she
Mhm.
came to the call the other night and she was like, listen, this is a whole lot more involved than I
Mhm.
realized. I didn't realize I was going to have to do all these things. I was like, yeah, people think that you just put up a page and you selling some stuff, or you put up a page, you have a business. But no, you got to think about what is the messaging that you want to portray.
Right.
Then
Who's
if
your
you're not a
audience?
good writer, you got to hire somebody to write for you.
Mhm.
Then you got to have the
Mhm.
right images. Then you got to have the
Right.
right software and platforms. Like, you got to do all these things to get to the
Mhm.
end result. And a lot of times things don't go as planned, right? Who could have
Right.
prepared for a pandemic in 2020?
Yeah.
When that wasn't on the list. When we said Happy New Year coming out of 2019, it was not like Happy New Year, hey, pandemic.
Right.
No, nobody had that in mind. It's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
So how did you connect and like re-engage your kids and the parents? Like, what were some of the things that you did to, because I'm sure they were affected by that too, right? They, some of
Absolutely.
them with their
Absolutely.
jobs and now their childcare, like,
Absolutely.
oh my
Well,
God.
I made sure that because we use a childcare app, so I was able to communicate with the families even while we were closed. So I would send, emails and updates. I updated them, this is what's going on. This is what the governor is saying. Because I honestly thought we were only going to be shut down for like 2 weeks. I had no clue it was going to get extended out. So I just kept my parents updated as to what was going on. And I got lots of feedback because they were like, thank you so much. So they really appreciated because they knew kind of what was going on. And I must say, because of the culture that we built with the program, because we really partner with our families. And that's one of the things that when I guess you say selling the program is that we really build an importance on parent engagement.
Yeah.
So even while we were closed, let me tell you, my families were emailing me because they were so concerned about the staff keeping their jobs. They were still paying tuition for a while until I had to cut it off. I'm like, I can't keep charging you all anymore. You got, take care of your families. We're going to be okay. But there were so many, even when I stopped charging tuition, I still had some families say, well, I want your staff to be paid. So keep billing me.
Oh,
so,
girl, you about to make me go full blown.
I'm telling you, right, but now. That's the favor of God, though. And that's why I said, when you sow seeds into others and you plant, it's going to come back, so, and that's why I said that's the favor of God. That's how we're still standing, because those parents, even when I kept billing initially, they could have been like, no, you're not open, we're not paying. But they were like, what do I have to do? So it was just such a blessing. So, and even with coming back with the children, because one of the things that we had to do was to mandate that any child 2 and over had to wear a mask. So didn't know how that was going to pan out. And a lot of people were like, oh, kids can't keep masks on. You should see those kids. They are just champs in there. They're wearing their masks because the teachers just built it into the curriculum and taught them about germs and things like that. So they made it a teachable moment. And so you walk in my program now, you'll see a 2-year-old with their mask on, and they're playing like it's nothing. They're so resilient. They just kind of adapt. So it was an adjustment.
You guys turned it into a positive experience, right?
Yes.
It wasn't, don't nobody want to feel like wearing this mask, and all kids not going to be able to do. Like, why are we telling them what they can't do, or trying to insinuate what they can do when we haven't even given them the opportunity yet to prove it or not? And so you made it a teachable moment. Your staff made it a teachable moment. And I love that.
And I guess that's why I do understand with the school districts and how, but I know a lot of parents are like, well, why you're going to make the kids wear masks all day? I'm like, if a 2-year-old can wear a mask all day, a school ager can wear a mask all day. So, but I get it, because their number is a lot, they're dealing with much larger numbers than we are. So I get it, but don't discount it and say what a child can't do, because they're very resilient and they're teachable. And we're they're troopers. I'm the one that I can't stand wearing the mask. I'm like, oh God, but the kids, they're fine.
I forget it half the time. I'm running to the store, get out the car, get all the way to the door, then I'm like, oh no, I gotta go get this mask. Gotta go back to the car, get the mask, put the mask on. I'm like, Lord, have mercy.
It's a lot.
We gonna make it through, but like you said, there's another side. We won't be here forever, and I think if we just keep that at the forefront, we'll make it through that much more.
Absolutely. But, absolutely. I'm even thinking about expansion. I'm thinking about expansion. This is the time to think about expansion, or getting loans or whatever. Do you know the interest rates are really low? So
like super, like 2%.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, I was telling my husband, you might have to think about some things.
I'm just saying, if people are looking to like invest or get other properties, this to me is the prime time, because the rates are so low. This is generally when people kind of do that stuff, because if you wait until you get to the other side and then try to buy it, then everything's sky high again. So, that's for free, y'all.
You say that's a free tip. Y'all just got blessed tonight. Just telling you, all this goodness is going on here. So what tips would you have? Because you already dropped some great ones, but what tips would you have for people who are, they're trying to pivot, but they're not really sure, like they're at a difficult space in their life and they're not really sure which direction to take? What would you say to them?
I would say, first and foremost, pray. Pray about it. And most people, I think, you know in your gut when you know which is the way to go. Sometimes you just kind of need that confirmation or a little push. So for those who pray. For those who don't, pray anyway. I'm just saying. And I'm talking in that, get in your quiet space, because typically when I'm trying to figure things out, you have to really just get in a quiet space. Like right now, my house is so quiet, you can hear a pin drop. and just clear your mind. Because one of the things that what was helpful for me during this pandemic is that 10 weeks down, it cleared my mind. I had no idea that my mind was so, and I told my husband, I said, wow, I actually can think. So you need to carve out that time and really just kind of the quiet time, and then just start writing your ideas down. If it's something that, find an expert in what you're struggling with. If whatever you're trying to pivot, find someone who can kind of help talk you through it. Sometimes I'll have an idea and I'll call a friend, like, what do you think about this? Just kind of ask, because sometimes people like to think out loud. So sometimes you just kind of need someone to kind of talk things out with you, and it'll kind of make, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. So do that, and research. This is a great time to read a lot of things. So especially if there's a lot of downtime, research. And I think the more information that you have, then the more confident you will have with being able to pivot. Because and what I've learned, oh my God, I just finished this book too long ago. I think it's called Fear Is Not False of Me. Sometimes people are afraid to pivot because they're afraid of change. But what I learned,
that's a whole word right there,
is it takes courage. Listen, it takes courage. People think it takes confidence, but it takes courage to pivot. And once you just do it scared anyway, then as you learn and grow, then you'll be more comfortable with it. So I think people have to pivot all the time. I'm the type of person, I don't even like change. I've learned that about myself. I don't like change. When I get a routine, I like for my routine
we're gonna say right here.
But that is not life, so in my mind, I'm like, okay, I know, even if you're not comfortable with it, you just have to resolve within yourself, I'm not comfortable, but in order to grow, or in order to accomplish A, B, and C, I have to shift. It's part of life, or you're gonna get stuck.
That part. So y'all heard it here first. Y'all got all these gems. If you did not have your notebook with you and your pen taking all these gems down, then I'm gonna need, when this is over, for you to hit the replay button and watch it again, so you can get these notes. So thank you so much for saying yes and joining me and coming
thank
live.
You for asking.
I always love talking to you. And so I was honored when you said yes. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful people. I know I miss you too. We got to get out soon.
Absolutely.
Well, beautiful people, thank you for joining us tonight. If you enjoyed this, which I know you did, I would love it if you could hit the like button, hit the love button, share with anybody else that you think might enjoy it, who need to hear these tips on pivoting. So important. Leave us a comment. Tell us what your key takeaway was. If you have any questions, feel free to drop those down in the comment box as well. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Your Admin Expert, and subscribe to the email list on my website, yourvirtualadminexpert.com, where I share tips, tools, and strategies that I don't necessarily share on social media. So go subscribe. Miss Bernie, tell the beautiful people how they can connect with you.
Well, you can connect with me. I do have my website is abctoontown.com. It has all of our information about our program, our curriculum. It even has my contact information on there, so you can do that. Or I don't know, should I put my email out too?
Yeah, go ahead.
We do, and then we do have a Facebook page. Is ABC Toontown. So, but yeah, just ABC Toontown. You can Google me, Google all of that. All my information is there if you need to reach out.
Awesome. So beautiful people, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you live in October. Yes, I said October, for another segment of Leading Behind the Scenes. I'm going on vacation next week, y'all.
Yeah.
And I'm taking a break in September because I'm going to chill and have some quiet time, like Miss Bernie said, so I can clear my mind. But I will still be posting some good stuff for you guys on Thursday night. So don't try to skip out on me, and I will see you soon. Mwah. Have a good night.